getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Mark Fichtner on the call from the Red Raider softball win over Mississippi State. Excuse me. Mississippi State, not Ole Miss. That's a completely different school. I know better than that. I heard that game yesterday right here on 100.7 The Score. Game 2 tomorrow will be against Tennessee in the Women's College World Series. You'll hear that on 92.3 The Hub and the rest of that run over there as well. Jeff McGuire filling in for Choice Woodman today, sitting alongside Trent Hilliard and Ben Portman across the way. Sliding slides, pushing buttons for us. And I'm going to be honest here, guys. I'm going to take a hard left because I'm not ready to talk about softball yet. But I'm going to take a hard left. And Coach Hilliard, you are an expert basketball coach, at least on the level of basketball coaches. I say that with respect to this. There's an argument in basketball that I'm really getting tired of.
All right.
And it has everything to do with what happens on the court dealing with something that every fan has said, and I'm sure I've been guilty of it in the past. But I'm trying to elevate the argument and change the argument a little bit. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Western Conference Finals or even any of the stuff that's going on in the WNBA right now. But it also happened all the time with Tech basketball, both on the men's and women's side. Coach, you look at the end of the box sheet, right? You get the final stats for the game, and one team shoots 45 free throws, and the other team shoots 12. And the immediate response is that it's rigged, that the officials need to call it both ways, that there's no way there should be this much disparity in free throws. And I understand the frustration. I completely get it. I also know that you can drive around the loop at 65 and not get a speeding ticket. And if you do 100, you're going to get a speeding ticket. Because the person doing 65 isn't breaking the law, they're not going to get a speeding ticket. You can't, it's apples to oranges. In fact, it might be actually apples to corn because it's not fruit that you're comparing. One team broke the rules more than the other. Do you not want them to call any? Now, if you want to talk about what gets called, I'm willing to listen to that argument.
Right, okay? Right.
Because not all fouls are created equal. I totally get it. And there's justification that goes in all of it. Right? And I am not quite the official defender that someone else may be that may sometimes sit in the chair you are currently occupying. But in general, I really don't feel like the officials care who wins. Like 85, 95, 99% of the time. I don't think they care who wins.
Correct.
Do I think there's some coaches that give them a hard time that they don't really like, that they're not really upset if they lose? Maybe. That's the way everybody is. They are human beings after all. But I don't think 99% of the time they care who wins. I don't think they're keeping track. I don't think that they are looking at a box score going, oh, well, these guys only fouled 14 times, so we need to call. I don't think half the time they know.
So you're not in the conspiracy theory,
No,
huh?
I'm not. But you are a coach, and I'm sure you have been frustrated with how some games have been called, that your team has not gotten calls, or the other. But you ever notice another team never, when it's the other way, you don't ever say, oh, yeah, they completely, they should not have called 5 of those fouls. That never happens. It's always when you're on the short side. I want to end that argument. I want to end that as an excuse. I want to end that as a conversation. Point to specific fouls that you think should have been called, or point to specific things that you think were fouls that weren't.
Right. And I think what you're talking about kind of falls in where our society is at this point. Is there's a difference between being equal and being fair.
Yes.
And our society, many people can't distinguish between the two, and they think that fair must mean that all things are equal, and that's not the case. And yeah, speaking at it from a coaching perspective, Coach Knight always had the philosophy of, you wanted to make more free throws than the opposing team even shoots.
Correct.
And so he was big on attacking the rim,
Say that again.
getting there.
Say that part again. Attacking the rim
right.
will draw
and getting fouls and stuff.
Shooting from behind the arc,
it doesn't as
draw
much.
Fouls.
And yeah, the last couple of years, my teams we shot a lot more free throws, or shot equal than what the other team, and would make more than what the other team would even shoot, because we had a 6'1" post girl that was inside, that we would get the ball inside and she would get fouled a lot and do that.
Because
my early teams, when we didn't have it and we shot the three a lot, we didn't shoot as many. We didn't get to the free throw line. And I've had some great shooters that didn't ever need to really practice shooting free throws, because they were going to shoot threes, and they were phenomenal free throw shooters, but they weren't getting fouled because they were shooting threes all the time. So, yeah, the team that attacks the rim more, the team that goes to the basket, drives, is generally going to get to the free throw line more than a team that settles for threes. And, yeah, that's how basketball works for the most point. So, yeah, your free throw differential is going to be different. I think where people are frustrated with the NBA in particular, and it's trickling on down to all levels, is the amount of flopping that takes place.
Now,
the officials that think they see a foul, but if you don't see a foul, don't call it.
I think, and this is how I would fix this if I was in charge of all basketball, to fix the flopping. You're going to blow the whistle when you see somebody fall down. Like, as a reaction,
right.
As an official, you see somebody hit the deck in a non-basketball type moment, you're going to blow the whistle. I totally understand that. I completely forgive the officials for having that as an immediate reaction. That is not a natural thing for basketball to happen. Go look at it.
Yeah.
If there's no contact, that's an offensive foul.
Well,
when an offensive player fouls out of a game because they flopped 5 times, it's going to end the problem.
And they were going to do that. Supposedly they were addressing the throwing the head back on nothing that was going to be part of it, but that kind of went by the wayside because it happens constantly throughout the game.
It's when everyone was, and this is my parallel to that, when the rules changed in Major League Baseball and they added the pitch clock, we saw a ton of pitch violations early on at the major league level. And you saw it a little bit at the college level, you saw it a little bit minor league baseball, because we weren't like rocket focused on it for everybody, right? When was the last time you saw a pitch clock violation in Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
They adjusted because the pitchers didn't like having an automatic ball called on
them.
And hitters didn't like an automatic strike being called on them when you only got 3 to deal with or 4 to use as you desire. Sounds like you only have 4 fouls to deal with. Maybe you shouldn't be knocking your head back trying to draw a foul when there was no contact. They will adjust. These are professional athletes. They've gotten away with it for so long that you think it's ingrained, but you can fix it.
Yeah.
By calling it the other and going, let the pendulum swing the other way. Now, I'm not advocating for what's going on with Wemby the other night, where he felt like he had to throw in a giant elbow because they weren't calling anything. There's a line. But if you call it the other way on the flopping, it'll stop.
Right. And you get into the whole flow of the game and everything that's going on, and your product isn't very good when there's constant fouls. So it's a tough line for those officials to call everything at the level and the speed and the physicality that those guys that are 6'9" and whatever bringing. So that makes it tough.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Have to wait until tomorrow for the next regular softball game as they take on Tennessee at 1:30. Pre-game 2 o'clock first pitch on 92.3. All right, so it's talking season, Coach. This is the early version of talking season. This isn't Big 12 Media Days. This isn't SEC Media Days. We're just talking. And there's some conversations going on internally with these guys. They're just talking. What did you think of the Texas's coach with his comments paired with Joey McGuire's comments in retaliation?
Well, first, I don't know why Sarkisian had to say anything about
because
that.
they didn't make the college football playoff last year, and they spent almost as much money as everybody else did.
And they've already taken some shots at Ole Miss within their conference, and that kind of became a thing for a while. And then he takes a shot at our conference and our schedule and our conference was kind of what it was.
Now, to be fair, we take shots at our schedule too.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not an uncommon thing for us to say around here.
But every team that we have on there that would be solid, Power 4 team keeps dropping us, and so it gets hard to schedule. And so I thought Joey's response to that was brilliant. Let's say, well, hey, let's play. So now he backs them into a corner, saying, okay, you want to mouth off? We'll play. We will make the arrangements. We will buy out us. And then Cody Campbell comes back, hey, we'll buy out your game. We'll pay for that. And let's play it. So it puts them now in the situation of having to say no, and it also tells the NCAA, hey, we're trying to find games. We're looking for a game, and we're willing to pay out other people's and buy out other people's games in order to play them.
Wow. So
we want to. So yeah, it's put us in a great situation. I think great PR move, knowing that no way is UT gonna schedule that game against us.
I don't. Everything you said there was almost accurate, and there's one little caveat: we will buy out to play Texas, both teams. I don't think you're making the same agreement with Vanderbilt. I don't think you're making the same agreement with Rutgers. I don't think you're making the same agreement with SMU that you'll buy them out just to play another Power 4 team. I don't think that's on the table. It's you would do that to play Texas. I think you would do that to play A&M.
Right.
I think that's the end of that list.
But you're doing it against Texas because Sark had to make he came out and made the comment. So it's like, okay, hey, yeah, let's again, you're gonna talk a big game, let's go play on the field.
Oh,
and he has it over us. 57-7 was the last time we played them. They killed us.
That close.
But it's like, hey, let's go and play this one, and we'll take care of it. And anywhere, I don't think we've ever said we'll play in Austin. But of all times for UT to play us, I mean, we're sitting there going, we don't have a quarterback. The guy that we thought was going to be our quarterback's not going to be able to play. The guy that was our backup's coming off ACL, he's not going to be able to play. And they won't even schedule us with our third string quarterback.
Well, again, they'd have to play their second and third string, is what he said.
Yeah, exactly. They could take us. Our whole conference.
I do not think for 1 second that this is going to change anything. Today, this week, this season, next season. Clint Scott put up a story on the Double T Sports Network talking about this issue of Texas Tech and Texas are not ever going to be on the same field again unless it's in the college football playoff. And there's a lot of reasons for that. None of them are because of Tech, although some of them are. And what I mean by that is Texas Tech wants to have 7 home games a year. That means you're maybe having 1 road game in your non-conference, depending on how your conference schedule lines up. And, oh, by the way, if you have to bring Texas in, they're not coming here.
No.
There's no reason to come here. And that's not a knock on the Red Raiders. That Texas wants to have 7 home games too, because they like bringing in the money for their university. Newsflash, everybody does. And
every other year they already give one up playing OU.
Yeah, as a neutral site.
As a neutral site. So, they have the every other year that they don't even have that. So, yeah, last year they had all of their non-conference games at home against nobodies, and they had the 1 road game that they love to beat their chest about, going up and playing at Ohio State, and they get the return game this year. So,
and yes, Texas Tech would be willing to play a game in Austin if there was a return trip.
Right.
And it's Big Brother versus Little Brother. Big Brother doesn't have to listen to Little Brother. Now, this is where Sark got in trouble, is when you're Big Brother, you don't acknowledge Little Brother. When you're trying to be the top dog, there is no competition. If you were to ask the Double T staff, who's our biggest competition in sports radio in Lubbock? The answer is 100.7 The Score. That's the competition. We're the same station. I mean, for you guys have heard all of our shows. We have the same people on the same shows. We're all one big, happy, dysfunctional family here. If you were to ask anybody else who the competition, they're going to have a different answer. But you don't acknowledge, when you're the top dog, who your competition is, unless it's in the fun way of being in the same building. You don't, and no matter whatever your business is, we don't have any competition. We are the top of it. And Texas has done that flawlessly for decades. Until all of a sudden the Little Brother started doing something good and started getting some attention and started getting some things that they wanted that they didn't get. I'm not saying he's whining. I'm saying he's talking to his fan base, trying to get them fired up so they're showing up to games, so they're donating money, so they're keeping an NIL taken care of, so that they keep passion. I totally get it. It's no different than Joey McGuire going that everything runs through Lubbock, or that we've got to get people doing, like anything that you've heard a coach say that ended up coming back at him because they lost a game.
Right.
That's trying to get a fan base fired up, and that is part of the coach's job, is to get them fired up. But I'm also going to say, if you're going to take a shot, don't miss. And if you're going to threaten to take a shot, be ready for the comebacker, because if they're in a position to come back at you, they are going to. And that is a rule of life, not just of sports. And Sark has forgotten that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He likes to run his mouth. And it's not only, he chose us as his target, because we're not on the schedule. He's not mouthing at A&M and going to get them all roused up, which is the natural. That's the rivalry. That's both of your school songs are each other. So why not take a shot at them? Because he has to play them. So he was thinking this was a safe one to do, and say, hey, we got a team that's going to win and get, well, we called him out on it. And that's, again, the brilliance of Joey's statement was, let's do this, and back them up into a corner that now they've gone silent because they don't have anything. There's no response for them to say or back out of this other than just, I'm sure now it's just shut up, let this thing go by, and that's fine, but fans out in the social media world, that they're having fun with it and talking, and again, it's the time of year when there's not as much going on, so boy, that's perfect fodder for everybody to get involved with and to go at each other about, and yeah, when they talk a big game and then don't back it up, boy, we won that one for sure.
Now, what they can come back with is that, well, we can't afford to lose a home game, no matter who the opponent is.
Right.
And I don't know that Texas Tech wants to go down there to Austin and not get a return trip. That's where the sticking point, that's the next sticking point in this conversation that is going to end, and we can all go back to our corners. This person off the Yates Flooring Center channel and said, nobody said we'd pay the buyout for anyone but Texas. There's a purpose to saying we'd buy out an opponent to play Texas, and it doesn't apply to anyone but Texas in week 1 in 2026. And Sark didn't say that he couldn't beat Texas Tech with their 2-3s. He said they could beat our schedule.
Right.
He implied he could beat Tech with their 2s and 3s. And
yeah,
that's exactly what he was trying to say.
He was saying he could,
to his fan base.
That their 2s and 3s are equal to us and could just roll through the conference like we will, is what he was saying.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Bottom line rolling on. We're on 100.7 The Score, SportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff and Joyce, who is off being a woodman. What that means, I will let you know. Still alongside Trent, Hilliard, Ben Foreman across the way. Slide and slide to push your buttons for us on the program as he sees fit. Get your thoughts in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line or on the Double T sportsnetwork.com or on the 100.7 The Score mobile app or on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973, where Ben will be the first voice you hear. And I'm not going to have Ben answer some silly question for you that you have. If you would like to talk to Ben, that's the easiest way to do so. He will answer that phone, and he will be happy to talk to you. I see him chewing at the bit, ready to talk to people on the phone. Give him a call on the Visual Edge IT hotline, and then he'll get you into us. Coach, when you look at the softball game yesterday, what stood out to you from a coaching perspective about what you saw from the Red Raiders?
Well, anytime, again, you start off strong, and you can relax a little bit and play, and then just kind of go at them. And so, of course, getting the hit by pitch right off the bat kind of got us fired up again with that, and then you follow that up with the home run, and all of a sudden it's 2-0, and you've got a team that hasn't been there like you were last year. We have an experienced team, whether it's people that played for us last year, whether it's people that were with other teams last year but were in the College World Series. So you've got that experience just kind of took over, I thought, yesterday. And again, I've said I feel like this team's had so much pressure to get back to the College World Series, and that they constantly they were built for this, all this, that finally getting there has allowed them to now relax and go and play, and they looked like the team that we wanted them to be all year yesterday, just putting pressure on the other team, attacking them, making the extra base. How many times that they were like, well, this is uncharacteristic. Yeah, it's uncharacteristic because we're putting the pressure. We're making them make the throw and giving them the opportunity to mess up, and they did a lot of those.
And you were able to take advantage because of that pressure, and that's kind of what you saw from this team all season long, up until the very end of the season. And I don't want to say that the team got bored, because I don't think that's what happened.
No.
I think their focus shifted at the end of the year because they knew where they were at. They knew they were going to be a regional host. They were hoping to be a super regional host, but that kind of kept dwindling down as you were getting some unfortunate losses. But if you ask anybody that plays baseball or softball or anything along these lines, that there's a reason that they play a 3 or 5 or a 7 game series in these, is because on any given day anybody can win, but it's a lot different to win twice, and it's a lot different to win 3 times in a series than it is just to get 1 win out of 3. And when you suffered the 1 losses in those series that you did, it hurt your chances for being a super regional host. But you were not in doubt for being a regional host.
Right. It only hurt our chances to be a super regional host because there's a committee that decides, and the committee is SEC biased. That's it. We earned it on the field. You lost, they wanted to use it. You lost in the championship game to Arizona State. That's a team that went on the road and beat UT. UT had to come back and beat them in that championship, in that third game there, to get to the College World Series. So, that's not a team that was just some patsy or whatever. That's a solid team. You had 1 loss really on the whole year that was against the team that you should have beat and swept, and that was that Utah loss. But the rest of them, you earned it, and to have only 1 like that, this team should have been ranked higher, and they're proving it. They're coming in as the 11th seed, which means they should have been out the previous one, and now they're assured themselves of being in the top 6 left standing in the country, and so they've already exceeded those expectations of the people that misseeded them badly.
I would love to jump on that bandwagon with you, Coach. I would. How many Big 12 teams are playing in Oklahoma City right now?
Well, that's based on your seeding again. If you want to look at things and you want to go,
how many teams made it to a regional? How many are playing still? They made it to. I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of Big 12 teams that made it to a regional period. I was.
Right.
I was like, that's excellent. Here's your chance to go prove it. How many are still playing?
Well, they did. Let me tell you this.
Teams are
If you take the seeding that they had and you say, okay, here's what the expectations based on the seeding, and here's where they went. The Big 12 is the only major conference that has exceeded their seeding. They're a +4 in the games that they went. SEC's negative based on their seeding. A&M was out early. Oklahoma was out early. Big 10 is negative in their seeding. ACC is negative in their seeding. Big 12 is the only one that has exceeded their seeding capacity. So they were underseeded. They're the only conference that was underseeded. And when you underseed, you don't have as much of an advantage. You're not the home team. You're not hosting the super regional. And so it's much more difficult for you to advance. If Arizona State played UT in Arizona State, they beat them. They almost beat them in Austin. You flip them around.
Game 3, and Texas took care of business.
You flip them around, and I'm going to say that Arizona State's going to win that one.
Had they won that series, and Arizona State still been playing, had another Big 12 team made it to a super regional, or maybe taken another super regional site, I might be willing to jump on that bandwagon with you. The SEC, and to their credit, and I know that the normal guy who sits in this chair is completely, and I'm like 85% there, okay? They have invested in softball for a very long time out there. You are dealing with some of the team. Now, I know Texas and Oklahoma used to be Big 12 teams, and they're now in the SEC. I'm taking them out of this equation, okay? The SEC has cared about softball exponentially more over the course of the last 10 years than the Big 12 has. It's getting better. Texas Tech is part of it getting better. Arizona State is part of it getting better. You're starting to see some teams spending some money outside of the SEC. And I'm talking also facilities. I'm talking coaches. I'm talking assistant coaches. I'm talking amenities. I'm talking stadiums. All of that goes into this conversation that they have been putting money for years into these programs that the Big 12 is just now catching up to. So, yes, I had no issue with the amount of teams that were in the SEC making the tournament. I was pleasantly surprised with the number of Big 12 teams that made it, and I did think that the committee showed some respect toward the Big 12 with those teams getting in. I was worried the Big 12 was going to be a two-team list.
Right, but when, again, you look at it, Tech, 11 seed, they've exceeded. They're going to be in the top 6. Right? They went. Oklahoma State went the amount they were supposed to go. Arizona State went one step beyond. UCF went one step beyond. So all of our teams, Arizona went where they were supposed to. None of our top teams did worse than they were supposed to. 3 of the 5 exceeded those expectations. You go to the SEC and you look at it, yes, they're seeded very high, so they're supposed to finish in the top. Oklahoma didn't do what they were supposed to do. A&M didn't do what they were supposed to do. So you've got that bias there that now when you get on the field, they're given all the advantages of hosting. You know, they get to host their regional, and most of them get to host their super regional. So yeah, it's kind of that self-fulfilling thing of they should be able to go. If it was neutral sites and you were having to go like most of your other sports are, different ball game. When you're hosting, you have a huge advantage to doing that. Does Tech come back against Ole Miss if they're not hosting that game? Probably not. Momentum got them going. They came back. Would Tech come back and beat them again? Yeah, I think Tech would end up still advancing, but I don't think they win that first game against Ole Miss if they don't host. So it plays a big difference in what you get to do, and hopefully the Big 12 exceeding expectations will allow them to get a little bit better, and surely Tech going, okay, last year you were a 12 seed, played for the national championship. This year you're 11 seed, and here you are certified to finish in the top 6, and hopefully even more so than that.
Well, we'll have to wait till tomorrow to find out where we go for more from that. And
exactly.
That's a 2 o'clock first pitch, 1:30 pregame. They'll find out who they play with the winner of Tennessee, and not Tennessee, the winner of Texas and Mississippi State playing the loser, and they flip, right? They flip here.
Yeah, it gets all confusing on when they flip and when they go to the other side.
I kind of like that. I kind of like the flip because it gets you an opportunity to face a team that you may be right there with in the championship game instead of an elimination game.
Right.
I kind of wish college baseball did that.
Yeah. It's a great format to facing different teams and coming through and not having the top two teams be on the same side of the bracket.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Rolling through the program here on the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff in for Choice now, joined by Jamie Lent in studio. Ben Portman across the way, still sliding slides, pushing buttons for us as he does on the program. Taking your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line and on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. Jamie, it was a good day for softball yesterday. You and I had a chance to talk about what we got to see from the Red Raiders, and then we had to wait as we then went into Texas versus Tennessee. I will be honest, I was surprised to see the final score of that game, that Tennessee beat the Longhorns in that first game. I thought that Texas was going to win it. I was cheering for Tennessee to win it, I think. But getting Texas in the loser bracket doesn't hurt my feelings.
Nope.
Seeing Tennessee across the way on Saturday with a 2 o'clock first pitch has intrigue, but I was going to be intrigued no matter who was going to be playing because the Red Raiders were involved. So what did you see yesterday from the rest of the softball world?
Not that we didn't already know it, but goodness, there's a lot of SEC teams. 5 of the 8 that definitely jumped out at me. But what, and I saw, I would say a little bit of the last 2 games, and then a lot, obviously, of the first 2 games, almost all of the first 2 games. And I didn't walk away last night thinking the Red Raiders aren't just as good as any of those teams. Okay, so, I know that, you go back to yesterday and you look at the teams that were, number 1 seeds that were there, and Texas is, the number 2 overall national seed. Tennessee was 7, Alabama was 1, Arkansas, Nebraska 4 and 5, and UCLA at 8. So the Red Raiders and Mississippi State were the 2 lowest ranked teams of the group, okay? Mm-hmm. And we all know that the Red Raiders for much of the season were in the top 3 and even parts of it number 1 in the country. And so I was a little bit, and I saw some of these other teams in Supers, so I'm not going to act like it was the first time I had seen them. But just watching the games last night and being a little bit more intent on focusing on, okay, what does this team look like talent-wise compared to what the Red Raiders look like? And I think my confidence level is higher after day 1 than it was going into the tournament. So higher after seeing the 4 games yesterday than it was before this whole thing started.
I mean, I was predicting 5 wins before, but I think I do agree with you that after the performance that both your pitchers and your offensive players did yesterday, what those ladies did with the bats, really kind of silenced, I guess, some of the critics that they've had with regards to their offensive production in the past, 3 weeks or so, that they've been having some issues on the offensive side of the plate. I still think that this team was built for this weekend and next weekend.
Yeah, maybe so.
Or I guess this week, because of how compressed this is. That this is not a team that was designed to go undefeated. They could. They were talented enough to pull that off, but that's not what the end goal was. The end goal is to get these 5 wins and not have 2 losses by the time it's all said and done in these 5 wins. And I still think that you've got a great shot to pull that off. I obviously, as not breaking any news here, the fact that you won yesterday makes that exponentially easier. Who knew? Win again tomorrow, your job gets even easier.
No question.
Who knew? Mm-hmm. These are the well done moments, but you have to win these games and you've got to put yourself in these situations, and that's exactly what Texas Tech has done. And that's how you build to the championship round for this, is by continuing to do the little things like you saw yesterday. And when you get the opportunity to put a big number on the board, you get a hold of a ball and send it over the wall. That's the kind of momentum that your offense can get going and really propel you forward, so your pitchers go out there, oh, look, my 1-run lead that I had for 2 innings is now a 6-run lead. That makes my job easier as they go forward. We'll have to wait, though, to find out if that will carry into the next game, because as Jamie will tell you, and anybody baseball fan or softball fan will tell you, momentum is only as good as the next day's starting pitcher.
No question. And the thing that you really enjoy about the College World Series of softball is, it is absolutely loaded with really good pitching. Now, I think you're seeing that this year these teams, and specifically the Red Raiders, one of them, are absolutely trying to load up with offense to combat that, and you're seeing the scoring is higher. And so I think that, going back to what you said a minute ago that I agree with, is that this team is built to win in this kind of a situation. I absolutely think that is kind of what we're seeing with the Red Raiders. They are definitely built to win in these kind of games where they can win because of their pitching, and they can also win because of their offense.
That game will be on 92.3 The Hub with a 2 o'clock first pitch, 1:30 pregame. Mark Finkner on the call for that. We'll have the rest of the Women's College World Series on 100.7 The Score, depending on where the Red Raiders are playing and when they're not playing. So be watching for that throughout the course of the weekend. But it's a fun time to be a fan of a team that's still playing right now.
No question.
And that goes for no matter what sport that currently is. We've got the men's side of the baseball regionals in front of us. They've got it split into 4 screens right now. And I'll be honest, there's some eye looking over there every now and then, kind of taking a peek, but I don't want to say the attention to it. I don't have the focus to it that I do for the softball, or that I did for softball when they were early on, because it's a lot easier to watch when your team's a part of it.
No, no question. Everything you're watching, you're wondering how it factors into your team and all that good stuff. So, yeah, sure. I don't disagree with you at all. How about this? Number 4 overall national seed Auburn losing to Milwaukee 10-0 right now. That game's not final. 10-0.
Yeah, they're in the 4th, top of the 4th. Milwaukee batting in this game.
Kansas and Northeastern are going at it as well, and Northeastern just tried a straight-up steal of home.
It's like they're playing college baseball or something. Who knew?
Yes, and he was out, but I think it was the catcher's balk, and they may have overturned it to safe because the catcher jumped out in front of the hitter. I'm waiting for the final call here, but really interesting. Maybe not. Maybe he was out.
And
he was clearly tagged out. But
I'm going to ask you a question because you're the expert in this. That's the Northwestern coach there, right? In the corner?
Northeastern.
Northeastern coach. Is he J. Bob's twin?
Is this just the helmet? He's a little skinnier.
The helmet, the same. He's got kind of the same body build a little bit, the same haircut. I keep catching it out of the corner of my eye. Going, what's J. Bob doing?
Yeah. No, I guess they did call him out. So.
Well, that stinks. We were hoping for a steal. Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Rolling to the bottom line, 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff in for Choice. Sitting on the side, Jamie Lent. Is that back-to-back wild pitches, Jamie?
It sure is.
Oklahoma State now trailing SC Upstate 2-0. Bases loaded, nobody out. Airmailed pitch to the backstop. Scores the first one. Second run bounced
off the catcher. It rolled about 10 feet, and he couldn't find it.
I'm going to say wild pitch pass ball. Or you can go wild pitch twice.
Just wild pitch. Oh, yeah. Wild pitch twice. Both of them, yes. Because it was down in the dirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was blocking. Okay, cool. I was also seeing from the backside. Apparently, Jamie, I was going over some notes on the Bottom Line history page, and somehow Choice Woodman has not talked about the Dallas Cowboys schedule. And if he has not talked about wins for the Dallas Cowboys schedule. How did this happen?
I don't.
Has he just been, busy?
I think we've talked about the schedule. I just don't think we've predicted all the games. I think the Cowboys are getting a lot of love. I think a lot of NFL experts think the Cowboys have a shot this year in the NFC.
I like the moves they made up for the defensive side of the ball. I do. I like what they did in the draft. I like the limited free agent action that they've had on that side. And you had lots of holes to fill. I still don't know that I think you are one of the top tier teams in the NFL. I still wouldn't say you've got a chance to win. If you're in the playoffs, which I think they can be as a playoff team, you have technically a chance to win the Super Bowl. But I wouldn't put them in that level that this is a Super Bowl winning team. Okay. I know that makes me weird as a Cowboy fan, that I don't think the Cowboys are a Super Bowl winning team when they haven't played a game yet. But I do like where they pointed in this offseason compared to last season.
At the very least, it feels like look like you'll be a much better team than you were a year ago.
So let's go through this. We're going to go one by one. I am guessing we are all picking the Cowboys over the Giants in Game 1.
Yes.
I think that's probably, I don't want to say it's a gimme, but Dak Prescott doesn't lose to the Giants.
Yeah, I would definitely not call it a gimme. I think the Giants are a little better, and they also have a new head coach who's really good. So I think that will lift the Giants as well.
Has Dak only lost twice to the Giants in his whole career?
I think it's once.
Have the Giants ever been good when Dak played them?
No.
The Giants have been good for a long time.
No, they
so
haven't. They've been okay.
I bet you there are a lot of
Cowboys
quarterbacks who have a really good record against the Giants in the last 6 years.
Right, but it's also there was a while he hadn't lost to them at all.
Okay.
And in division, you're going to lose some games to some teams that you shouldn't lose because you see each other twice every year. Speaking of division, you got back-to-back division games to start the season with a home game, home opener against Washington. I think that's a win.
I'm 2-0 for the Cowboys.
You're showing a W. Okay, I want to make sure that you weren't counting like 3 there. No. He was doing the west side sign for those of you who are wondering behind the glass. Shifting on to Week 3 and the Baltimore Ravens. This game is at home. I don't feel great about this game. I don't feel like it's a guaranteed loss. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think this is a 3-point, 4-point game either way. I'm leaning toward loss because I think Baltimore's a better franchise run-wise than the Cowboys are, but I would not be shocked either way.
Give me the Cowboys. 3-0.
First loss, 3-1.
Okay. Then the grudge match game. And I say grudge match because it's Dallas versus Houston, although it's Arlington versus Houston, depending on how you actually want to look at this for the Cowboys fans. I don't know which Houston team shows up. I don't know which quarterback shows up for the Houston Texans. I think this could be a very, very fun game. I actually kind of wish this was a game scheduled every year with Houston and the Cowboys going against each other.
Well, I
know why it's not, but I wish that this would be, if it's not a scheduled game for the regular season, that these two teams would meet up in the preseason every year. I wish it was kind of that kind of thing. Maybe we can get back to that. I'm probably picking the Cowboys here with that high-powered offense.
I'll take the Texans in this one. At home with that defense, I suspect they'll be just as good defensively this upcoming season. Yeah, give me the Texans.
Back-to-back losses.
Oof.
They lose to the Texans in Houston.
Shifting over to the Tampa Bay Rays. This is October 8th, a Thursday night game.
The Rays, huh?
Did I say Rays?
Well, we playing basketball.
They're playing baseball.
Still caught up in baseball season there, are we?
Yes, and that's not a bad thing for me being caught
I didn't say it was.
Yes, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Week 5, October 8th on a Thursday night. So short week for the Cowboys. And for Tampa Bay.
And for Tampa Bay, too. Yeah, I'll take the Cowboys again. I'm at 3-2.
2-game skid ends. Cowboys win.
I've got to win here because you're playing at home on a Thursday night. The travel is enough of a difference in there for me to lean toward Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is a good team, though.
Then I've got another loss here, October 18th, Sunday, at the Green Bay Packers. When you look up who's your daddy, the Dallas Cowboys, it says the Green Bay Packers right now.
I'll take the Packers as well.
Same.
I hate that, by the way, but that's what's going on. And now the game that might divide the table here, and I mean the actual division of the table. We might have to get a song and cut it away because I don't want any part of this. Cowboys at Eagles. I'm going win for the Cowboys.
Okay, fly Eagles fly.
We're breaking this table in half.
I think Cowboys.
Over Jamie's head.
Cowboys split. They lose this one, they'll win.
But we'll get to the next one. We're gonna get there first.
5-2. I mean 4-3.
Then we get to the Arizona Cardinals. Win.
Dub.
You could play this game anywhere. In Arizona, at Cowboy Stadium. You could play it at Jones Stadium or over here on 4th and University. I don't think it would matter. The Arizona Cardinals are a mess. And while I have my comments about the Cowboys that are long and distinguished with regards to what I have said, I do think you are a better run organization than the Arizona Cardinals are across the board.
Okay.
At the Indianapolis Colts for Week 9 on Sunday morning, Sunday noon kick. Cowboys.
I'll take the Colts.
So I got PTSD from the last time they played in Indianapolis back in 2018. They got shut out, scored no points. So I still feel like the Cowboys will get points on the board, but I got Colts with the win.
Moving on to the San Francisco 49ers in Week 10, November 15th. This is, all eyes are starting to lean toward that Thursday night game on Thanksgiving. And there's just something about what the 49ers do to the Cowboys that I think the 49ers would pull out a win here.
Okay. I think I'm going Cowboys. Because it's at home.
I think Cowboys finally do it. They get it to the Niners.
Next up, this is the game on the schedule that's not in conference, that's not in your division, that I want the Cowboys to absolutely destroy an opponent on their schedule.
The scourge of your existence.
Really, they are, yes. If I was to be able to, I tried shifting teams off the Cowboys, but if there's anybody, every rival of the Tennessee Titans would be where I am at, and that is who is the Week 11 matchup on a Sunday afternoon. Sunday noon kick. Tennessee Titans. Give me the Cowboys all day, every day, and pound them into submission.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys will win that one. Cowboys
dub.
We get next to the Thursday night Thanksgiving game against the Philadelphia Eagles at home. Thursday afternoon. I'm sorry, not Thursday night. Thursday afternoon, 3:30 kick. We will all be distracted by a Texas Tech football game and game day. But who wins? Cowboys, Eagles, Jamie Lent.
I'll take the Cowboys.
So you're splitting the two games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I said they'll split too. This is their win.
I think they're sweeping the Eagles this year. I know. That's coming out of my mouth. That's crazy. Next up at Seattle. This is Monday, December 7th. So you go from a Thursday night game to a Monday night game. Big rest, big help, not enough. Give me the Seahawks at home.
I'll take Seattle.
Seahawks.
On to the at Los Angeles Rams.
After a bye week.
After a bye week. They're going to win the bye week. I know it's hard for them to do that, but they're going to figure it out. Rams. Versus Jacksonville. Win.
Victory.
Dub.
New York Football Giants. Noon kick. Possibly their last Sunday early game.
Win.
And at Washington. Win.
Loss. 11-6.
Are they losing because they don't need to win?
I don't know.
Well, I'm just asking if that factored into your decision.
Probably play their twos again.
No, I think Washington will be better than they were last year if they can keep their quarterback healthy. They were a good team 2 years ago. Remember, they're in the NFC title game.
Yeah, but then they got rid of their offensive coordinator. Now I have big issues with them.
I think it had as much to do with their quarterback being injured.
Yes.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
So it wrapped up yesterday afternoon with the Red Raider softball team beating Mississippi State in the first game of the College World Series. They await the winner. No, they play Tennessee tomorrow. It's 1:30, 2 o'clock first pitch on 92.3 The Hub. That being said, it's time for Jamie's question of the day.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
Okay, you know who the field is in the Women's College World Series. If I told you that the Red Raiders were going to make it to the Women's College World Series final championship round, who would you want the Red Raiders to be playing?
See, this is where I get into trouble. I'll be honest. This is where I get into trouble. Because part of me looks at the field and sees Texas there. And knocking out Texas in the championship game after they knocked you out in the championship game last year appeals to me. What doesn't appeal to me, and it's very, very close, and I think I lean toward the other direction, of Texas not being in the championship game and being eliminated, tonight. I think that appeals to me more. That not only do they not make it to the championship game, they don't get a win in the College World Series. They made it there. I can't prevent that anymore. I was pulling hard for Arizona State to finish that series off. But that's where we sit. So not Texas. I kind of want to root for Mississippi State the rest of the way. I like the fact that they beat Oklahoma. I like the fact that I think they are a good team and worthy of being in Oklahoma City. I also think that you can beat them again 2 out of 3 times. And remember that there's a flip. So you could face them in the finals. Right? Yeah, you can face them if they win tonight. Then they would play the winner of the other game tomorrow. Right? That's where the flip is? So they'd face the winner of Alabama-Nebraska. The loser of Alabama-Nebraska. And not Tech-Tennessee.
I think that is correct.
I think that's how it's either there or the one after that. So you could face them again there. But I think if you're going to go through this, I want to face Alabama in the championship game. Let me take out the number 1 team in the championship game and shut everybody up. Not only did we win the national championship, but we did it going through the number 1 team in the country, according to experts.
So Alabama.
Final answer. Buzz.
Hang on one second. I'm looking at the bracket here, Jeff. And I'll fully admit I'm learning this as I go along.
Mm-hmm. The flip is after this round?
They're playing Game 5 today.
Correct.
If they win tonight, actually. If they win tonight, they would play the loser of Game 8, which is the other side of the bracket. If they win, they would now be the team that the Red Raiders would play on Monday if Texas Tech was to win.
Okay.
So
it's a double flip.
Yes. So they would stay on your side.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Alabama would not. Alabama's on the other side of the bracket.
Alabama's on the other side. Yeah.
Okay, so you and I, Jeff, are on the same page as far as the standpoint on taking it to the SEC and having vengeance on your runner-up finish and Texas winning the championship last year. Like, I want to take it to them this year because I feel like this team has the offensive firepower and defensive poise. I mean, really just clicking on all cylinders to really win it all. And I want Texas to be the one team to fall victim to that. But at the same time, I've really loved the battles that we've had with Nebraska, with Nija versus Jordy, and given the loss, I think it was 3-2 this year that we lost to Nebraska, and we beat them last year. I believe that was also early in the season, but I kind of want to see that matchup one last time, Nija versus Jordy, mano a mano, to see who the best pitcher is. We all know it's Nija, but I also want to see those two go back-to-back for one last time as seniors in the World Series. And I also want to take it to Nebraska, stick it to the Big Ten as we do the SEC. So my answer would be Nebraska.
Okay. I think you guys you're making some sense there. My initial thought was this. I want Mississippi State because they're the least talented team. But if they're getting there, they're clearly the hottest team,
Yes.
right?
After
Because
taking
they would
down
have,
Oklahoma
yeah,
and
they
Norman.
would have gone through Oklahoma and then gone through a bunch of good teams to get there. So,
Confidence would be high.
yes, no question. I have a hard time thinking that wouldn't be a team that everybody's like, man, that's a hot team right now. I don't know if I want to play them. So, my answer, when I think college softball and the dominant historic programs in college softball, I think of Oklahoma, no question, right? But I also think of some of the Pac-12 schools like Arizona and like UCLA. I think UCLA, I think college softball blue blood. And I think that's who I want to go up against. I want to go through them. I also love the fact that it wouldn't be an SEC team. They've got 5 of the 8 that are there in Oklahoma City, and for none of them to make the final, I think would be fantastic. And so I would love for it to be UCLA.
Caitlin Terry sending her former team packing. I love
There
it.
you go.
When does that stop being a story? I mean, I guess it never does technically. Like it's always whoever transfers in someplace when they face the other team.
I think it's going to become more and more of a story now, Jeff, because you're having more and more players that are transferring.
Right.
Especially when it's players that are high caliber players that aren't transferring because they're not playing or whatever. They're transferring because they're studs and they want to, move on to play for better programs or whatever. And if those programs are still good, the opportunity is there for them to face off against each other. And then you go back to the fact that I don't want to say that kids don't have loyalty, but it just doesn't mean as much to them, it feels like, anymore. So
that's kind of where my question
like
comes
10
from.
years ago when you said like a kid's going to leave, TCU and go play for Baylor, you're like, no kid would ever do that, right? But now that's happening. You've seen guys transfer from A&M to Texas. Like, you can't go to A&M and not hate the Longhorns. A year from now, you're going to play for them? That's just weird. You can't play basketball for Texas Tech and not hate the Kansas Jayhawks. But Kevin McCullough said, no, I'm good. I'll go play for them.
See, I'll do you one better. You could play first base for the Longhorns, Red Raiders, and Aggies.
All the same guy. All the same guy.
And that's kind of where my question comes
what
from.
What in the world? Man, that guy's a trivia question answer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But where does that, because it becomes so normal, that aspect of the question of, or that comment, taking out their former team. Well, which former team? He's played or she has played for 4.
Yeah,
Do you go off the team that they took out the freshman year or the sophomore year?
Yeah, it's just
college.
college.
And then it becomes old hat, I guess is the way to put it.
You just have to accept it.
If you're wondering how the Oklahoma State Cowboys are doing in the top of the second, the first answer is not good, as they are losing to SC Upside 4-0. They are
Upside?
Upstate, not Upside. That's the
So
Upside
far,
because they're on top.
So far, the Upside is pretty good.
They are in the process of reviewing whether a home run was hit. In real time, I thought it was gone, that it was over the yellow line. In the replay, I still think it's gone. The umpires are about to make the ruling, and he's talking and talking and talking and not giving a signal. Let me just tell you how awesome he is. And he's saying...
Looks like he's saying second base.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State coach coming out to argue, which leads... Yep, runner on second. So it's a double instead of a home run. That it hit the line and it then went out of play.
Stayed in the field of play.
Well, there you go. So runner on second with 1 out. Instead of 4-0, it's 3-0 with a runner in scoring position.
Maybe the next guy will just homer and make it 5-0.
Wouldn't that just be justice? Yeah. I still think that ball's out. But they're the umpires. They've got a better camera angle than I do.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.